Some people think that computers can run our world better. That's debatable, but one thing is for sure. Computers detect more than the human eye. Zebra Medical, one of the highest profile global AI startups with a focus on medical, is helping hospitals to analyze images, X-rays, MRIs, and Eyal, who I visited in Herzliya, I think 2 years ago. I'm very, very, very proud that you are coming to us and that you're presenting Zebra Medical, which is a really, really amazing business. We always talk about AI, no? But who is actually using AI? And imagine AI can help your disease faster than any human eye. I think we will feel all better. Thank you, Eyal.
Thank you. So good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for having us. Marco and NOAH were always a great partner. We introduced Zebra a few years ago in Israel, so we are very happy to be here to report status, where we are at our very long journey, and we will share today how we are impacting patients' lives here in the UK. So at Zebra, our vision was always to see how we can empower radiologists and health systems to take care of more people and do it in a more effective way. And they are facing ever-increasing overload, and the AI can now help. So our mission was, and still is, to teach computers how to read and diagnose medical imaging scans at scale. The only way to do it is to have a lot of data, and I'm talking about a lot of data. So when we started the company, we were privileged to gain access to very rare data sets of longitudinal data, hundreds of millions of images scans, MRI, CT scans, mammogram, X-rays, you name it. And those scans were given to us by two very unique healthcare systems that really take care of their patients during their entire lifetime. One of them is our own NHS in Israel. It's called the Clalit HMO. It was one of the first care providers worldwide to go completely digital. So they have 20 years of longitudinal data, which is digital, and Intermountain Healthcare, that essentially was the lighthouse for the Obamacare program. They are one of the most effective healthcare systems in the world. So with all this data, AI can work. You can train machines, by example, to detect specific things. And some of our investors know about it. So Professor Fei-Fei Li in Stanford initiated the ImageNet project many years ago, and Professor Amnon Shashua from Israel is one of the fathers of the autonomous car industry. All are using AI. But creating an algorithm and publishing a research, it's something that apparently is easy to do. And there are thousands of publications nowadays showing that AI can work and detect specific findings in medical imaging scans. But apparently making this algorithm an FDA-graded product is a very hard thing. And you need to face and show the efficacy and the safety of this tool that you can deploy it in multiple hospitals. And this is the journey we have been through. Zebra is now at the very forefront with 3 FDA clearances that we got in the last 12 months or so, and we are expecting a few more soon. Some of them are in the cardiac side, some of them are in the neuro side, and some of them are in plain film. And when we go to the hospital, we actually present to the hospital a non-artificial intelligence approach, meaning we are showing them our throat, and this is the one throat to choke, one point of contact to call for many AI tools that can save many lives instead of integrating with many different vendors. And our service is already deployed worldwide from places like Australia to Brazil. We recently went live in India with the largest hospital group there called Apollo Hospital that are treating 40 million patients. And Europe as well, and by the end of this session, you can come and tell me if you guys want to stay in Europe or not, but we also have an installation here in the UK that we will share with you recently. And we are serving all those AI models to the customers with our PACS vendors. Those are companies that serve radiology software, and we're integrated into their softwares or machines. But the most important thing, at least for us and our team, is how we touch patient lives, and we're going to share with you today what we call the story of the 3 grandmothers. And the picture you will see are illustrative, but the stories and the hospitals are real, and one of them is here from the UK. So grandmother number one, imagine your grandmother, comes to a hospital after a head trauma. And the radiologist and the team are doing a neurological examination, and they're about to send her back home because everything seems to be okay. At the very last moment, the head radiologist gets an alert from our system that a brain bleed was found in her head CT scan. And the CT scan was prioritized on the acute condition list. The treatment is reverted. They took care of the lady, and now she's okay. And this is just one example how especially during night shift, you can have residents that are fatigued, that are doing many other things, and AI can be a safety net. A second grandmother, in this case, was sent by her GP with a specific ask to see if she has a ruptured lung. It's called pneumothorax. It's also an acute condition. In this case, the pneumothorax was missed in the first chest X-ray, and she was about to do a CT scan with a lot of radiation and waiting time and cost, but then the system alerted on time, and the pneumothorax was found. And in clinical trials, we saw that we can reduce by 85% and even more the amount of time it takes to see the acute condition, and that means a lot. So we talked about reducing time, we talked about the fatigued radiologist, the night shift, and how we can become a safety net. The third grandmother story is why we're happy to be here in London. So this is an Oxfordshire story. It was fun to see the Shire part in the PO. So this lady was sent to Oxford Hospital to check if she has actually a lung cancer. So a CT scan was done. And in this case, she was released back home, but in this case, there is a happy ending in terms of the cancer. She did not have any cancer. But 3 months later, she got a letter from Oxfordshire to come back to the hospital because a vertebral fracture was detected in her spine. And why is it important? Apparently, vertebral fracture in her spine for this age group means she's in a very high risk for a hip fracture of osteoporosis. So this lady and now several hundred more are already being treated at Oxford in the National Fracture Prevention Program that already exists here before Zebra was created. You guys are lucky to be in the UK with such a social healthcare system that takes care of everyone. So the national system can now enjoy all those AI insights, and patients can be called back in to be treated. And we'll talk about the NHA saving later. This is Dr. Qasim Javaid, one of the policymakers for osteoporosis prevention in the UK. And he was the one that tested this product over there. And now it's well published on stages all over the world, including the Global Osteoporosis Society. 4.5 billion pounds are being spent every year here in the UK just for osteoporosis, and every 3 seconds there is an osteoporosis fracture. I heard that many of the ladies went for a tea party, so 1 out of 2 ladies are affected by this after the age of 50. And as always, guys, we get a slack, but we can't be exempt whatsoever. So 1 out of 5 men will suffer from this as well. And 70% of those vertebral fractures are missed today by the radiologists that are overwhelmed by too many other things they need to do. So early detection by AI actually works. It's good for the patient. It's a step function in preventing osteoporosis. And obviously, it's good for the healthcare system. So we detect those earlier. We have high quality of reporting. And at the end of the day, patient lives are important, but for healthcare system, money also talks. So only at Oxfordshire, we are currently at a run rate of saving the NHS £3.3 million just for the use of this one algorithm. We increased the detection rate of those fractures to 90%, and they were able to keep the same manpower. So there is no extra cost, no new nurses that need to be hired. They just get a more and curated and higher quality list of patients to call to. And lastly, if there are representatives of hospitals here in the crowd, just as a respect for hosting us and for Marco and Noah for hosting us. We have a special offer together with our cloud partners. So if you're considering moving to the cloud next year, we have a paid forward type of offer where you can see the NHS benefit upfront. Thank you very much for hosting us.